Hi folks, Andy Allen here for Applied Shotokan. This is going to be the first in a series of videos, rules for Bunkai. Well, more like guidelines versus black and white rules. What is Bunkai? So Bunkai would be the breakdown or analysis of our patterns, our kata. It's literally the process of reverse engineering to figure out what they mean. So my first rule for Bunkai, or good kata Bunkai, would be that it needs to be used to defend us against realistic attacks. Usually we'll see karate kata being used to defend against the straight punch, maybe a front kick, and maybe even a bow staff. Those aren't great examples of using kata effectively. The attacks are unrealistic, they're never going to happen, so why would we bother practicing defense against them? So before we get into what I mean by realistic attacks, let's look at the first of Itosu's 10 precepts. Precept number 1, he writes, karate is not merely practiced for your own benefit. It can be used to protect one's family or master. It is not intended to be used against a single assailant, but instead as a way of avoiding a fight should one be confronted by a villain or ruffian. So when he says it's not intended to defend against a single assailant, he's talking about it's not meant for consensual violence like MMA fighter versus MMA fighter, boxer versus boxer, but instead the civilian violence, non-consensual violence, when you're being attacked and don't want to have anything to do with that. That's what Itosu was talking about. So that's what kata is for. It's for protecting ourselves against the type of violence we see in the street, for lack of a better term. So when we're considering what kind of attacks we should be using when reverse engineering kata, what should we be looking at? Well, we can be looking at punches, both straight punches and round punches. We can be looking at different kinds of grabs, collar grabs, wrist grabs, bear hugs, that sort of thing. We could be looking at pushes and shoves. We can be looking at even chokes, like the crude front choke, the guillotine choke, that sort of thing. Okay, folks, I hope you enjoyed that. Please leave your thoughts, your comments below. I've got all kinds of other ideas for rules for Bunkai coming down the pipe, so stay tuned. Until next time, I'm Andy Allen for Applied Shotokan.